What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another From Screen 2 show for View. I just got out of the Beetlejuice sequel, Beetlejuice, directed by Tim Burton. A glorious return to theaters that not really sure many people were asking for, but ultimately I'm kind of glad that it got made. So I'll keep this one pretty short. There's not a whole lot of thoughts I have about it. It's pretty much exactly like the trailer looked fine. I managed to see that before screening at one point. The trailer didn't look terrible in any way, shape, or form. It just looked like, in essence, we were just getting at least more Beetlejuice, and that is what you get. You get more Beetlejuice. You get more Winona Ryder. You get more, I believe her name is Catherine O'Hara. You get some Willem Dafoe. You get a lot of cool things. Which, speaking of, massive shout out to Catherine O'Hara, who plays Winona's like stepmom or something like that. And Willem Dafoe in here, easily the two best characters outside of Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. You don't get an absolute overwhelming amount of him in this movie, but you definitely get like, oh, I've missed Beetlejuice. Well, here's Beetlejuice type of energy from this movie. And it is here to leave an impact, I guess you could say, during the scenes where it really, really matters. The score by Danny Elfman is next to none. It opens up with that, and it just absolutely sets the tone and gets you in the vibe that you really want to get into in the headspace for this type of movie. Um, really, I don't have a whole lot of complaints whenever it comes to the movie. It's like I said, it's exactly what you'd expect to get out of a decently made sequel to something that's beloved to you from your childhood. It's non-offensive. It doesn't take a huge amount of risks. It plays rather a lot of it safe, and it gives you really what you want. I only really have one like minor complaint that really, I guess, just takes away from a lot of the movie, and it's more or less pacing. I think the movie could have been a lot shorter and felt a lot tighter and felt a little bit more rewarding, but instead you kind of get like these little small nuanced stories and these small nuanced characters that really never get time to be fleshed out because they're trying to do this and that. And our two like centralized villains are so half baked it feels like a CW episode of the Arrow series, if you ever watched that, where it's like the villain of the week, they're just introduced, boom, slight sad story, and you're supposed to feel some type of way. It just doesn't do it for me in that one. But whenever you do get the Beetlejuice moments, the CG and slight mix of practical look really, really good on here. There is a good amount of practical, and it does do it justice. It's just the story's a little bit all over the place. Not necessarily a bad way. It's just a little bit scattered by that, and it just doesn't necessarily further anything from the original one. There's not necessarily a point of it existing outside of, do you want to see one last hoorah? Hopefully, I wouldn't be opposed to a third, one little hoorah from the Beetlejuice squad and Tim Burton and crew. And that's exactly what you get out of this. You're not going to walk around absolutely doing jumping jacks while walking to your car and like super excited and over the moon. And you're not, I at least hope, I couldn't see how you could absolutely hate the movie, because I do consider the first one to be one of my, not all time favorites, but definitely a highly rewatched movie of mine. I love that movie. I definitely think it's worth a check out. I think that 4K Blu-ray is going to look absolutely insane. I did go see it in Dolby. The soundtrack was really nice. The vocals and the voices of the characters and everybody were present, crisp and clear, and it sounded really, really good all throughout it. The image was absolutely stunning in Dolby Vision, and there's a lot of colors that happen on here, especially whenever you're in, I forget the name of the world already, the underworld hell, Beetlejuice's world. Whenever you're in there, you have like these really, really, really like emerald bright greens. They're not neon, but like they're like shiny colors, and it just really, really makes for a pleasant experience. I really don't have a lot of complaints outside of like, really the pacing just really did a lot to like kind of take me away. It's got some nice nods and homages to the original. And it just felt like it took a little bit of time to get going. It would have made a lot more sense had we not been just trying to play catch up with characters from the first one, which is kind of cool to do, but also at the same time, you're also trying to introduce us to these new characters, and we aren't necessarily getting anywhere with these new characters. Instead, we're just kind of hashing the same thing you've been saying, which again isn't necessarily the worst thing. It's non-offensive about it. It's not horrible at all. Anybody that says that this movie's awful, I really wouldn't be able to see in what world, honestly. I mean, it's made full of love, and it's made for the fans of the original for sure. If you want more Beetlejuice, say less. You're getting more Beetlejuice. That's the beautiful part about this one. So to wrap it all up into a nice little bow, I'm gonna give Beetlejuice a nice little. I'm kind of struggling between a 7 and a 7.5. So I never do quarters, but let's say 7.25, I guess, for the sake of the conversation. It's not necessarily an average movie. It's a slightly above average movie with some shortcomings throughout the runtime. So that's kind of how I feel. Till next time, guys, stay tuned for some more exciting From Screen to Shelf content. This is Chase signing out. Thank you.